Story came out a little while ago that, quite honestly, I can't believe I missed. Somebody sent it to me, and I'll explain in a minute. I wouldn't have believed it if it hadn't been reported by this one individual. It's about the presidential assassination program, where American citizens are targeted for killings far away from any battlefield based exclusively on unchecked accusations by the executive branch that they're involved in terrorism. Ha! That's interesting. How did we miss that? I don't know what I was on that day. There are allegedly dozens of Americans on this hit list who pose a threat to the United States. Gee, I wonder if I'm on it. The National Security Advisor, John Brennan, said this.
There are, though, in my mind, dozens of U.S. persons who are in different parts of the world that are very concerning to us.
Okay, so we just shoot them. We just shoot them wherever they are. Don't worry about the Miranda rights. Don't worry that they're American citizens. If they're on the battlefield, I say, fine, I get it. But off the battlefield, gee, I'm a little fuzzy on the whole American citizenship thing. Let's refresh our memories on what this administration said it believed. And I have to tell you something. I'm looking for people who actually believed this president. January 15th, 2009, there is no terrorism. It's man-caused disasters. Really? March 13th, 2009, the administration said there's no such thing as an enemy combatant. Why? Because enemy combatants, well, we'd be able to put them in jail now, wouldn't we? March 13th, the war on terror doesn't exist. It's the overseas contingency operation. Yeah. Then, May 26, Brennan proclaims, jihadists are not the enemy.
Our enemy is not terrorism, because terrorism is but a tactic. Our enemy is not terror, because terror is a state of mind. And as Americans, we refuse to live in fear.
Okay.
Nor do we describe our enemy as jihadists or Islamists, because jihad is a holy struggle, a legitimate tenet of Islam, meaning to purify oneself or one's community.
Okay.
And there is nothing holy or legitimate or Islamic about murdering innocent men, women, and children.
I got it. This is from a president who talked about Arab American families being rounded up off the streets of New York.
If there's an Arab American family being rounded up without benefit of an attorney or due process, that threatens my civil liberties.
That hurts his civil liberties. No rounding up of Arab American families without due process, because it hurts his civil liberties as well as theirs and yours and mine. Yes, sir, Mr. President, I agree with you. I've never seen that happen, but I agree with you. Now, he campaigned on closing down Gitmo because of all of the horrors and atrocities. He wanted to show the world American justice. Let's show the world our justice system. Let them see it on the other side of the planet, by the way. Has anybody seen the story covered by Fox of the Gitmo inmates? They're now watching Twilight, the new vampire movie, on brand new flat panel TVs. Right there by the beach. Wow, sounds horrible, doesn't it? But he said Gitmo had to be closed because it didn't line up with American values and ideals. I got to tell you something. Sitting around all day watching TV on the government dime does seem to be a new American ideal, but I digress. President Obama said if he was elected, he would end the warrantless wiretaps of George W. Bush. He believed it was an affront to human rights if phone calls of terrorists were even monitored or listened to. But I shouldn't have said terrorists or terrorism, because that's hateful to call it that. But now it's totally cool to shoot Americans suspected of terrorism, something that doesn't exist. I'm a little confused because none of this seems to add up. The hypocrisy, kind of like they're against the death penalty, but they don't want to send anyone to prison without trial, so we'll just give them the death penalty and not send them to prison, but we still don't have the trial. Can you help me out with this one? Because I can't possibly figure this one out. Is it possible that they are trying to do to the court system what they've already done to Congress? Make it irrelevant. America, where are your friends and neighbors that are not playing politics? Don't you see, we are so far beyond Republican and Democrats, it doesn't even matter anymore. They are racing the branches of government, and now our president says it's okay to assassinate American citizens. Where are the people that really actually believe in something? Look, we can disagree in America. You might hate my guts. That's okay. That's all right. But we have to have an honest debate, and with that, we have to have principles. Where does this administration actually stand? Where do you actually stand? They will tell you one thing, but they'll do the exact opposite. I'm sorry, match this blackboard with this blackboard. You can't. They don't, it's schizophrenic, something's wrong. By the way, I want to stop here for a second because I guarantee you the lowlifes of George Soros blogs like Media Matters have to put down their World of Warcraft 3 controllers, rush back, just to call me all kinds of names. We are so polarized now that it is an automatic reaction if I bring it up. It's a lie. It has to be a lie. But I mentioned that I saw this story. Somebody had sent it to me. The quotes we used a moment ago were from the far-left site Salon.com. The segment that somebody sent to me was from the ever-conservative MSNBC. Here's a taste of it.
Look at the controversies that were created during the Bush administration when the president got caught spying on American citizens without warrants or trying to detain them without due process. Here you're talking about something far more extreme. You're talking about targeting American citizens for murder, for assassination, based merely on the allegation that they're involved in terrorism. No evidence, no charges, no trial, nothing.
His actions create a massive cognitive dissonance that actually allows him to get away with more than George W. Bush could when it comes to encroachments on civil liberties, facilitating theft from the American people, or potentially calling you or me a terrorist and trying to have us killed.
Well, I know that that's the fact.
Okay, I have to tell you, I don't think I would have even looked into this story had it been, from, the GOP conservative blogs. I wouldn't have. But from these guys, I thought there's no reason for them. They're in so deeply in the bag for Obama, it's sickening. But look at this. They're right. Assassinating American citizens without due process. Where is that? When did that become okay? How come there aren't people in the streets with signs that say, when has the American president gained the power to assassinate people? Even the ACLU expressed profound concern about recent reports indicating that you have authorized a program that contemplates the killing of a suspected terrorist, including U.S. citizens located far away from zones of actual armed conflict. If accurately described, this program violates international law, and at least insofar as it affects U.S. citizens, it's also unconstitutional. It's the ACLU, for the love of Pete. And you notice they say if it's accurately described, we asked the White House, we called them up, call me. Little red phone, call me. We asked if they were accurately describing the presidential assassination program. You know what the White House told us? Call the CIA. America, you are in trouble. I am one of the strongest guys out there on the war on terror. I do believe there are jihadists. I do believe there is terrorism out there. I do believe there are people that want to destroy us and kill us. There are probably people that are bona fide terrorists on this list. I don't know. And if I were on a jury, I'd listen to the evidence and determine whether or not they were a terrorist or not. And if I found out that they were, if I was on the jury and we all voted, I'd probably say, yes, shoot them in the head. But call me a little nostalgic for the Constitution. What do you say for American citizens? We have a fair trial. What do you say? I don't want this with Ronald Reagan. The president is worried about offending radical jihadists. He's worried about Muslims and Arabs just being scooped up in the streets, which I haven't seen. But I also see who is being feared. Who is being feared? The racist, angry Tea Parties. Do you remember? Missouri, a report was issued for the state police to be on lookout for supporters displaying bumper stickers and other paraphernalia associated with the Constitutional Campaign for Liberty and libertarian parties. The report categorized them as militia-influenced terrorists. That's you, gang, with your Don't Tread on Me flag. Just so you understand what we're talking about, the president is calling for assassination of American citizens. Why? Why? Engaged in terror, that is treason. It's in the Constitution. You need two people who have witnessed it. He's taking that out. Forget about it. No due process. That doesn't make this word assassination. It makes it presidential murder.